Oh, this is Mr. Hornsby 3. This is the Mr. Hornsby 3 show, and if you guys are wondering why I have a brown paper bag over my face, it's because my Indianapolis Colts this year have totally let me down. And today I'm going to talk about all the problems I have with my Indianapolis Colts, starting with Chris Ballard, and then I'll go on from there. So let me get this off now. Alright, as you can see, I'm freaking brown paper bag. And I just got out of the shower, so my hair is a little wet, messy. Anyway, so just a little bit closer. Yeah, this passed, and I decided to wait a couple days before I did a video on it, because this past couple days I want to see what was going to happen. Nothing really happened, so I want to talk about the problems with my Indianapolis Colts. And this may not be a popular video because my Colts football videos don't usually do so well, but oh well, I'm going to get it out there. Plus, I knew everybody else that covered the Colts was going to be talking about this for the last couple of days, so that's why I decided to do it today. But my Indianapolis Colts let me down pretty much this entire season this year. I mean, first off, we frickin' lose our opening game to the Texans when we could have ran the ball on them. Then we lose to the Green Bay Packers, which we should have been able to beat. Then after that, it's been an up and down season. There's moments where it's been good, there's moments where it's been bad. Every time we played a frickin' playoff team this year, we've gotten beat. Except for one frickin' playoff team, and that's the Steelers. We beat the Steelers. We know the Steelers are probably going to be number one in their division. But every other playoff team we have lost to. Now, a lot of the games have been close, that's cool and all, but this is really annoying. Because we should not be struggling, and when we played bad teams, we've only beaten them by 7 points or less. How in the world is this? How in the world has this frickin' been tolerated for 8 frickin' years? I mean, come on now. One playoff berth. One playoff win, or well, 2 playoff berths, 1 playoff win since we've been having Ballard as the GM. I'm going to move this a little bit closer because I'm pretty ticked off. I mean, this is ridiculous. The fact that we only beat the Patriots by 7 points is one thing when the Patriots are a bad team. But, you know, and everybody's like, well, the defense go. Well, let me move it back a little. I think it's a little too. The defense has been terrible against the run. We've been good, decent against passing, but not consistently decent against passing. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to blame Quiddy Pay for that. We went and got Latu, who has not done anything but got us 4 sacks. Yeah, he's had a bunch of pressures. That's why I say, what would you prefer? This is why I was so irritated with Colts Nation this whole offseason. They're blasting Quiddy Pay, a guy who's gotten 8.5 sacks last year, but didn't get enough pressures last year. He's got like, what, 6 or 7 sacks already now. I think he's our sack leader out of all the defensive linemen. But yeah, we're going to blast Quiddy Pay. Latu has not done anything. And pressuring a quarterback is one thing, and sacking him is another thing. Because when you sack them, they frickin' lose yardage. When you pressure them, they might still have a chance to complete a pass and not even have to worry about anything. Especially if there's someone like Tom Brady. But yet he gets bashed by everybody. He's a low-ranking defensive end among the NFL people and all that stuff too. Which is ridiculous. This guy is our sack leader. And we're bashing this guy instead of bashing all the other guys that ain't doing nothing. Our number 1 draft pick we got this year. 4 sacks so far. And it took him a while to get sacks, but yet we're going to bash him. Anyway, it goes. My biggest issue with this team is the GM. Ever since Ballard's taken over, we've been an undisciplined team. Ever since Ballard's been taken over, we have not had great drafts. Ever since Ballard's taken over, we have not made many big moves in the draft, in free agency and that. Now look, I'm not one of those people that say, oh, let's go free agency all the way. I believe in building through the draft. But you also got to pick up some free agents along the way. They only picked up 2 this year after bringing everybody back from the season before. They only picked up 2 free agents. That was Flacco and that was freaking Raekwon Davis. That was it. If you're not going to get people in free agency to fill the depth chart or to be starters in that, at least get people to fill the depth chart. Quit thinking you're going to get everything to the draft, especially when you ain't had too many great drafts. I mean, let's think of some of the drafts that Chris Ballard's had in his 8 years. He's drafted guys like Kamoko Toure, Ben Banagoo, Marvell Tell, frickin' guys that have been bust. And the offense. What's going on with the offense? The offense was pretty good last year when we had Gardner Minshew as the quarterback while Richardson was out. They were even good before Richardson got injured last year. This year, we're dropping passes and all that. And I've talked time and time again about Michael Pittman Jr. This guy runs on freaking YouTube, whines and bitches and complains about, oh, the Madden game rated me too low, rated my strength too low, rated my overall rating too low, rated my speed too low, blah, 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 blah. Quit worrying about your stupid ranking on Madden and worry about producing on the field. And the offensive lineman, come on now. This is supposed to be the best offensive line, but there's been times where the offensive line has been bad this year. And it ain't just been guys like Dalton Tucker that's been the issue and all that. Now, yeah, we haven't been totally healthy. I mean, this past week, Dalton Tucker was benched. And we were still terrible at the offensive line. We were still terrible. My beautiful wife and her coming in. She just left out. But, we were still terrible. This past week against the Denver Broncos. And then Jonathan Taylor wanted to get paid so much freaking money, but has not done much since he's gotten paid. He ain't even been doing much since the first couple years he was in the league. He's been freaking not consistent and all that. Same with Pittman Jr. Wanted all that money, wanted all that big pay in the offseason. Ain't done a damn thing to get that pay or nothing. But nobody wants to call these people out. You know, I hear even freaking other Colts YouTubers that freaking talk about the Colts every day ain't calling these guys out like freaking Pittman Jr. And as far as Anthony Richardson goes, yeah, the last 3 games prior to this one, he looked like he was improving. But, I mean, even before he got benched before the tap-out situation, he looked like he was getting a little bit better. But yet, he's still making the same mistakes he made in the first few games right before he got benched. I don't think Richardson's the guy. And, you know, we're dedicated to winning now. We're supposed to be dedicated to making the playoffs and all that. And I'll talk about my expectations for Richardson in a minute after I freaking get done talking about it. We're supposed to be, but yeah, we go and freaking draft a quarterback that is a project quarterback. We should have drafted a guy that was already ready for NFL level play. Not draft a guy, you're seeing the new flea market stuff that we got there. And you're seeing my Cobra Commander, and I'll explain why that's in there. But, you know, after I talk about all this. But, you know, if we were really that devoted to winning and trying to make the playoffs and being a contender, we would have gotten a quarterback that was NFL ready. I mean, seriously, this is unbelievable that we're this bad this year. I have not seen a Colts team this bad since, what, 2022? Was that the year? Yeah, 2022. I have not seen a Colts team this bad since 2022. And it don't even go to the Ballard and the frickin' regime and all that for reason either. The regime before that was terrible. You know, when Irsay fired Peyton Manning, which you should have kept Peyton Manning for at least one more year, you could have still drafted Andrew Luck, kept Peyton Manning for 1 more year, then traded Manning or released Manning, and Luck would have been ready, and we'd probably still have Luck as our quarterback right now. But Luck wasn't as great as everybody was saying he was when he first came out in the first place. I mean, we still were not at the position we were when Peyton Manning was the freaking quarterback. And Irsay said, yeah, the reason why we did all that is because we're devoted to winning Super Bowls. What have I seen over a decade that tells me you're committed to winning Super Bowls? I have not seen a damn thing from this team. Grixon, Pagano did not do anything to help Luck on the offensive line. Didn't do anything to help him on offense, period. The defense was still pretty bad because everyone's like, well, maybe if you switch to 3-4 or something like that, your defense would be better. You know, all the analysts, all the so-called experts, maybe the Colts need to switch to a bigger defense, like 3-4 or something, and then they'll be a better team. You couldn't even get a freaking proper anchor to your defensive scheme in the 3-4. You can't get a proper nose tackle. You couldn't get proper defensive ends for a 3-4. You couldn't get proper outside linebackers for a 3-4. But, you know, then we talk about the Ballard era. Oh my God, the Ballard era has been so freaking terrible. I am sick and tired of living through the Ballard era, and I don't care what happens. I don't care if we go 9-8, we win the last 3. We're supposed to win the last 3. I don't even think we'll win the last 3. We'll probably win against the Giants. We'll probably win against the Titans. And then somehow we'll find a way to lose to the frickin' Jacksonville Jaguars again. Us getting frickin' beat by a terrible team like the Jacksonville Jaguars should not happen. Whether it's in Jacksonville, whether it's in Indianapolis, I don't care. We should be able to beat a bad team like Jacksonville. And honestly, I think, you know, I'll be honest with you. I like Grover Stewart. I like DeForest Buckner. But signing those guys to 3-year deals, I would have signed Grover Stewart to like maybe a 1 or 2 year deal to keep him. He's getting old. He's not as good against the run as he had been the past several years. And he doesn't do nothing in the passing game, so what was the purpose of keeping him? Outside of, yes, he is still one of the better nose tackles out there. But he's getting old. And age is showing. DeForest Buckner, looking good this year. I would have signed him to a 1 or 2 year deal to keep him around a little bit longer. This team needs a refresh. Keep the guys that have been making plays, and, you know, guys like Kwity Paye. Even though everybody bashes Kwity Paye, even though he's our sack leader right now, and he's got like 6 or 7 freaking sacks right now, something like Latu doesn't have, because everyone's like, oh, you know, Kwity Paye's going to be fighting for his job because we drafted Latu and blah, blah. We're not high on freaking Kwity. I ain't seen Dio Digbo done much either this year either. As far as sacks. He might do decent in pressures. He might got better at run defense. But he still is nowhere on the level of Kwity Paye. So, I don't know. Colts Nation needs to quit being so hard on Kwity Paye when he's the one doing more than anybody. You know, 6 or 7 sacks, which is more than any of our other guys got. That should say a lot. But honestly, I think Richardson We'll see how he looks these last 3 games. The thing with Richardson is, those last 3 games were against teams that didn't have good pass defenses either. And one of those teams, yeah, were the Lions, and they still beat us. And we only scored 6 frickin' points. And what the hell is Adion Mitchell doing? He's playing terrible. I was excited for him when we drafted him. I said, man, we got a good draft this year. We got Latu, another defensive end to go with Kwity Paye. We got Adion Mitchell, who might be better than Pierce. And Pierce has been the best player out of the receivers, him and Josh Downs. The rest of the receivers have been garbage. Not only that, our freaking tight end group, I don't know what to say about our tight end. Our tight end group is garbage. Every last one of them. Jelani Woods is injury prone. Freaking Andrew Ogletree can't catch a damn thing. Granson's terrible. Mallory's been alright when he's had chances to play. Mo Alley Cox, oh my god, he's been decent. But, you know what? I don't know. Ballard needs to be fired at the end of the season. And if Irsay once is as devoted to winning as he claims, fire Ballard. You know, and as far as Steichen goes, look, yeah, this is his 2nd year. He's still learning. But if he's terrible like this next year, then frickin' Steichen needs to go too. But our people's already calling for Steichen for this year. I'm like, I'll give him 1 more year. And the only reason why Ballard is here this year is because he got Anthony Richardson last year. That spared him a year. This year he has not done anything to prove and improve this team at all. 2 free agents. And you know what? We've been plagued with injuries this year. And that's given us issues with depth on our team. If we ain't got depth on our team, then what are we going to do when a major star goes down? Because the depth on this team sucks. The team in general this year sucks. We need a change, and we need it next year. Get rid of Ballard. You might have to fire the 2 coordinators to make a statement. You know, somebody's got to suffer consequences, you know. If you have to fire Steichen. I don't care. If you quit going after these stupid Philadelphia coaches in the first place, you wouldn't have this problem. Yeah, we need a freaking guy that's going to lead this team. We need a Tony Dungy. We need somebody like that. Or Mike Tomlin. Look what he's done with the Steelers for years and years. Yeah. They haven't always made the playoffs, but they've been close to the playoffs that they end up failing in the end. But Tomlin and the GM has done things to improve the team. Ballard has not done anything to improve the team in the past 8 freaking years. Get rid of this guy. Fire the coordinators if you have to. If the new freaking GM wants to fire Steichen, fire Steichen. But for Christ's sakes, do something to improve this team. Give us hope again that we can win games, because I don't have any faith. We might win the next 2 and then we lose this last game at home. Because that's been the case it's been the past couple years. So I'd say probably 8-9. I don't think we're going to be 9-8 this year. We're going to be 8-9. And if Richardson, you don't feel like Richardson's a guy, cut him, get a quarterback in this year's draft. That is the guy. Because honestly, you know, and I know a lot of people that like bring the juice. They've defended Richardson a lot. And Richardson isn't, you know, completely exempt. And they keep saying they've criticized Richardson for stuff. But I haven't seen it. I watch every single one of their videos. Because, like I said, Cody Felger was a friend of mine on Facebook, and he requested me. But, yeah. You know, fire Richardson if you don't feel like he's going to improve. Now, we'll probably find out next year or the year after. But if, I'm going to say this, I'm not going to say cut him now. But if he goes into next year and the first game he looks terrible, he needs to be cut next year. I'm not saying let's wait 2-3 years. I'm saying if he doesn't improve next year, cut him, draft a new quarterback next year. But yeah, this is just ridiculous how this team is looking right now. And as a fan of the Colts, I just couldn't stand by and watch this anymore. It's been so freaking bad. Something needs to change. Ballard needs to be fired. Maybe the coordinators need to be fired. Maybe Steichen needs to be fired. Maybe some of these receivers need to have their contract restructured. Michael Pittman Jr. Maybe Jonathan Taylor's contract should be restructured. Because of, especially after what happened this past Sunday with the stupid thing where he just fumbled the freaking ball. Just do it down before he even crossed the goal line. How stupid can someone be? I would be looking for a way to get out of the cap. I would restructure his contract, then I'd trade him. Michael Pittman Jr., same thing. I'd restructure his contract to trade him because neither one of them had done anything. And that fumble he had Sunday was ridiculous. One of the big things they freaking talked about when they freaking drafted, and I've seen everybody talk about it, when freaking Pittman Jr. got drafted, this guy has never dropped a ball in all his years in college. He's dropped numerous passes this year. He dropped numerous passes the year before. He's dropped numerous passes the year prior to that. You know, college is different than the NFL. And Pittman has not proven to me at all that he should be number one receiver. You know who has been proven to me they should be number one receiver? Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. Those are the only two receivers doing anything. Mitchell sucks. Pittman sucks. Doolin sucks. Gold, I understand why they got him. He's mainly for, punts and kick returns. So that's good, but he ain't had no freaking game-breaking plays at punt or kick return this year. So all the receivers except for Pierce and Downs suck for our team. Rest of these receivers suck. Tight ends suck. The offensive line is overrated. I've been saying that for years. They're overrated because we still see Braden Smith get pushed back by a really good defensive end here and there. Bernard Ryman's been alright this year. Quentin Nelson has committed so many freaking penalties and he's supposed to be our best offensive lineman. And he's a captain. Unbelievable. I think, rehauling the team. Cut all the dead weight. And refresh the team. Because this is terrible. This is not Colts football. This is freaking old school Bengals football, but the Bengals ain't been too great this year. But the past few years prior to this, they've been pretty good. This is not old school Bengals. This is like freaking Cleveland bad. That's how bad we've been. But yet, Irsay's committed to winning championships. Get a freaking GM that's really going to get us to a championship. Hire a coach and a coaching staff that's going to get us to a championship. And get these guys to build a team that's going to lead us to a championship if you're devoted to championships. Instead of wasting time on some assistant to Philadelphia, instead of wasting time on some crappy, terrible GM who's been the freaking GM for over almost 10 years now, get somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, that knows how to be a good GM, that knows how to be a good coach, that knows how to build a good football team that can win a championship. Instead of building a team that's mediocre every year and they're always 500. Rather they're 8-8, 9-8, 9-7, 8-7, whatever. Freaking just, yeah. irritating. And with this new freaking NFL, this new freaking NFL style freaking play, I don't know. But that's it. I'm freaking done talking about this team. I don't have no hope we're going to do anything. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're going to be 8-9. And we ain't going to be in a position to get some good players. Unless we get lucky like we did last year with Latu, which Latu ain't proved nothing yet. Hopefully next year he's better. Hopefully Richardson's better next year. I don't want to hate on these guys. Hopefully Richardson's better. Hopefully Latu's better. Hopefully Adion Mitchell's better next year. But I've seen enough of guys like Pittman. I've seen enough of Taylor being mediocre lately. And I've seen enough of this freaking overrated, overpaid offensive line making money to play terrible. You replace Dalton Tucker with a guy that was a good guard for you years ago in freaking Mark Lewinsky. And then you screw it up. You still play bad. You had all the other guys playing this past week. And you still look freaking terrible. And then not only that, I don't know. You know, now my expectations for Richardson, yes, they were pretty high. I was high on Richardson. I'm like, you know what, we're going to be good this year. We're going to be in the playoffs. Richardson's going to be better than he was last year. You know, maybe I shouldn't have got my expectations so high for a guy that only played a few years in college. But I did. Because I believed in all the Colts media that talk good about Richardson and all that. I believed in people like Bring the Juice and all that. And I've listened to them instead of listening to my own freaking logic, to listening to my own gut, to listening to my own two eyes that I see every time I watch the Colts play. You know, seems like everybody makes excuses for Richardson. And look, I want to be higher on Richardson, but after this year, I don't know. Maybe he comes out and plays like gangbusters next year. Who knows? Let's hope that's the case. I highly doubt it. But maybe he comes out. Maybe he improves. Maybe he can pull Lamar Jackson. Who knows? But, yeah. Right now, he's at that rate of Tim Tebow. And I liked Tim Tebow. Even though I wasn't a Broncos fan at the time. But still. He's at that rate. Yeah, he's at that Tim Tebow area because he has not been great this year. And, yeah, I blame myself for getting high expectations. Like, oh, yeah, Richardson's going to be good. He's going to be better than Stroud. He's going to be better than everybody else. He's going to be better than Levis. He's going to be better than freaking Young. He's going to be better than those guys. And we're going to be back on top where we belong. Was I wrong? And I got my expectations too high, so that's on me too. So. Won't happen next year because I don't think we're going to do anything if nothing changes. If Ballard's not fired or anything, or there's no major changes on this team after this season's over. This is going to be over in Jacksonville. But, I don't know. I don't have expectations. The only guy I'm keen on that I think doesn't deserve the hate he's getting is freaking Kwity Paye. Right now, hey, look, Colts Nation, bring the Jews. Everybody, quit bashing Kwity Paye. He's our sack leader right now. He's not freaking 4 sacks like Latu is. Quit bashing Kwity Paye. He's out there improving year and year and year and year. I don't know how many sacks he's going to get this year. He's still got 3 games. Maybe he could get to 10. But that's a tough call. He might get close to 10. He might get 8.5 again. Might get 9. There's 3 games left. All he needs is a sack in each game. Sack 7. Sack 8. Sack 9. All he needs is 1 sack in each game. And he'll be close to double digits. More than what Latu is. 6 away from double digits. Anyway, and I like Latu, and I was excited to get Latu, but he ain't done nothing yet. So yeah, if Ballard's not fired, and I don't hear nothing about the Colts in the offseason, anything good or positive about making changes to the team, I probably won't watch the Colts next year. I'll still watch football, but I won't be worried about watching my Colts because I know they're going to suck. Like they've sucked the past several years since Ballard's been in charge. So fire Ballard! I'm committed to excellence. I'm committed to championships and Super Bowls. Peyton Manning got you a championship. Peyton Manning was the best change. If you would have kept him for a year or two longer, the Colts might have another Super Bowl. The Indianapolis Colts might have another Super Bowl, but no. You're like, no, we're going with Luck. And look, Luck's retired now. Because of the other frickin' GM you hired that was garbage as well. Ballard and frickin' Grigson are the same amount of garbage as GMs. They suck. And this is your third coach you've been through since Ballard's been there. And that's pretty bad when in his second year as a head coach, people's already calling for the head coach's job. That's pretty bad. But anyway, that's it. I'm done. I've lost all hope for my Colts this year. And if things don't change next year, I'll lose hope for them again next year. So yeah. But anyway, why this Cobra Commander is in the bag for the flea market stuff is because I found the retro cardback cartoon Cobra last Thursday. So, got it. And I'm happy that I got it. Anyway, I would get it and frickin' show it off, but this video is already long enough. But yeah. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the Colts frickin' season. Let me know what you think should be done with the Colts. And give me any other frickin' thoughts you have in the comments below. I won't be back again till like a few weeks. I just did this video because I had to talk about it today because I'm just so annoyed with my Colts right now. Especially when you blow your chance to make the playoffs. You were this close to being in the playoffs. And every time we have a chance to get in the playoffs the past few years, we screw it up and choke. The last 3 years we've had a chance to make the playoffs still, and then we blow it. That's why I say we're going to lose to Jacksonville probably in that final game. If not Tennessee or frickin'... If not Tennessee or the Giants will somehow beat us. Who knows? But we're going to at least lose one more game before the season's over. That's what I'm predicting. Anyway, that'll do it. I'll be more positive when I come back on the air with my 2025 predictions and all that stuff. I didn't talk about the Game Awards last week because nothing major happened. Just same old with the freaking Game Awards. But anyway, was it last week or was it a couple weeks ago? I don't know. Same old with them. Anyway, that'll do it. Catch you guys later. Peace out.